Welcome back to Mini Mayhem. I'm Oshrik Vox. Star Season 4 continues this week with The Night Shift and Queen Napped. As always, we're going to break down these episodes, analyze them, and see what Easter eggs and references you might have missed. Of course, spoiler warning if you have not watched these episodes, go check them out, then come back. And let's start with The Night Shift, which the title is a clear play on words on the phrase Night Shift, which could allude to the episode's climax of the overnight party for the newly appointed Knights of Muni. This episode actually introduces us to the new additions of Muni's Royal Guard, once again, including monsters and humans for the very first time. Now, this ceremony leads to a monster mother jumping to conclusions, and assuming Eclipse is going to behead the monster son. Although this is played off as a joke, it shows the tension from years of history that tore monsters and humans apart. A huge contribution to that being Eclipse's mother, Solaria Butterfly. The monster mother even remarks, "When you see a queen of a sword, you just think, because Solaria's wand took the form of a sword." Marco's a part of this new crew of knights, bringing full circle his mission at the end of Sophomore Slump of Bateau Lintcatcher. This kind of blindsided me, as we haven't had much focus on Marco's development as a squire, which Star herself even pointed out wouldn't actually be doing squire knight stuff, but just hanging out. So if they at least mentioned Marco's squire stuff, I think I would have been better prepared for this development. Marco is recognized as both Marco Diaz of Earth and Princess Turdina. Both of his identities are an integral part of who he is as a person. Both legacies will follow him for the rest of his life. I'm really happy to see Turdina acknowledged, as I know that part of Marco's character means a lot to a lot of fans. On top of this, Marco also addresses his accomplishments in the Never Zone, and that identity as a jacked older Marco, who kicks butt, takes names. Star presents a cape of her own to Marco, similar to the cape he wore in the opening theme that ended up being River's meat blanket, with patches that each represent a key moment throughout their friendship. Marco becoming Turdina for the first time, rescuing Ponyhead from St. Olga's, the excruciating wait for goblin dogs, Star conjuring up laser puppies and Star comes to Earth, Marco being granted his interdimensional scissors by Hegapoo, Star and Marco eating Marco's homemade nachos and Pardue a Pony, and more recently, rescuing Nachos from the Never Zone. Notice how there's room for one more patch, right in the middle, which arguably is missing a staple of not just Star and Marco's journey, but the show itself. The Blood Moon. It feels like they're doing their best to just keep everything revolving around the Blood Moon off the record, despite how significant it is, even after the curse has been broken. I feel like this is a part of their journey they shouldn't ignore, that they have to own and recognize, but let me know how you feel about that in the comments below. We're introduced to Sir Crandall, who's either a doppelganger of Mr. Candle, or actually Mr. Candle, who for some reason is masking his true identity. Knowing Star versus the forces of evil, we won't get an answer on this, so here's three theories you can chew on. It is Mr. Candle just being weird, he has a brother, or there are tons of Mr. Candles all over Muni that kind of function like Mr. Meeseeks and Rick and Morty. They all exist to help console you on a difficult decision for your future, except they probably won't die when their duty is fulfilled.
Existence is pain to a Meeseeks, Jerry!
Moving on, the entire sequence between Marco and Sir Crandall greatly mirrors Mr. Candle Cares itself. The cat clock, posters, Marco only being presented one path, knighthood, and Marco's attempts to quit. It all parallels Star in that original season 2 episode. Aside from the visual parallels, her being presented with a singular path of becoming queen and rejecting it is nearly one-to-one. Marco actually informs Star he can't stay on Muni forever. He wants to go to college and be a part of his family when his baby brother is born. This raises some questions. Like, I'm getting the vibe of some redundancy. Marco came to Muni because his life had shifted from how it was in Echo Creek. He felt as if he didn't belong, and wanted to be with his best friend. Narratively, this didn't seem like a decision influenced by the Blood Moon, but because he went through a life-changing experience in helping Star defeat Toffee. I understand Marco Jr.'s on the way, but to throw out Marco's reasoning for being on Muni in the first place just feels like forced drama. Sure, you could argue he was never going to stay on Muni because Angie said Marco needs his own friend Summer, but why did he never say that himself? Though I suppose his speech at the end of the episode does justify his stance a little bit. Marco, and later Star, consults a stone Manfred for advice, before being dragged out to the night out party. This is just reminding us that, hey, Manfred still turned to stone. That has to be undone sooner or later. Hashtag thoughts and prayers for Manfred. Star briefly breaks out her armor from School Spirit, another callback that's actually used to show Star's growth throughout the series, as this time she catches herself overreacting, deciding not to rush into battle. It was nice seeing Marco's extreme karate skills come into play again, with a very well done retrieval of his cape before he got burned to ashes. Now this could potentially be our final time seeing the new Knights of Muni, including Higgs. Yes, I know she's a fan favorite, as she finds herself disappointed that the difference in time between Muni and the Never Zone reduces her back to a teenage body, stating there's nothing left for her here, though I hope and think this is a gag that will be ignored for future appearances. And now here's our weekly dose of Star Co-Watch. As this episode rolls to a close, with Star and Marco's heartfelt conversation, we have a heart of a different kind. The shape of their shadows and patches on their capes is one of a heart. Ooh, ship fuel. Yeah, it's ship fuel. Star's cape has patches that call back to Stump Day, Hungry Larry, Marco becoming Star's squire, Star and Marco babysitting Buff Frog's babies, Star and Marco fighting together, assumably for the first time in Star Comes to Earth, Star and Marco dancing to Save the Bounce Lounge, and in the center, unlike Marco's empty, patchless square, Beach Day, reminding us as an audience that yeah, this is still on the way, and Marco believes that this will be a key moment in him and Star's friendship. Ending the pull of heartstrings aside, let's move over to Queenapped. The title here is a play on the words kidnapped, which is the conflict of this episode, which kicks off with Archibald finding that Eclipsa is missing and Queenapped. The Ransogram monster from Ransogram and Out of Business quickly returns to drop off mail, which gives a clue in the weird twist that this episode contains, with the reflected core bill and Ponyhead scolding. It was brought up not just for continuity, but to refresh viewers on the conflict of Eclipsa's public perception. Another hint comes in the delivery and cadence of Eclipsa's abductors. When you listen, possessing the knowledge that these are Ponyhead sisters, it can be easily picked up on by these cloaked figures. Remove the deepened pitch and you know it's them.
We are the inner circle. We require 1,000 pounds of gold.
Ponyhead's interjection that Eclipsa will perish within a certain time frame and her need to keep the audience engaged is another dead giveaway, although one masked by Star becoming infuriated with Ponyhead throughout the episode. While I'm laying down all the hints towards the twist here, Ponyhead also remarks that running to the underworld in search of Eclipsa is a waste of time, leading on that she may know more than anyone else in the situation. Ponyhead stating that the Graveyard Patrol is more in line with her vision of being cool detectives could be a nod to Scooby-Doo. In fact, the promo art for this episode spotted at the Bloodwing Ball Pharaoh Mooney event parodied the gang as Mystery Incorporated. This trip to the graveyard sees an encounter with Babs, who mentions the Assassin's Guild also deals with spying, death threats, and ransom arrows. On top of her pink eye and other illnesses, she now has bronchitis. Jeez, what a brutal running gag. Babs, recover before you catch a case of death. Now this episode comes to a close with the revelation that Ponyhead was pulling the strings while Eclipsa was simply playing a VR game. Surprise! It's an episode of the Ponyhead Show! Don't you guys all love Ponyhead? Yeah! To Ponyhead's credit, despite some annoyance, and the show playing on the fact that she's not a fan favorite by a vocal amount of viewers, she does succeed in her goal. The people of Muni are happy to see Eclipsa is safe and sound. They adore her. Not sure this fixes everyone in Muni's view of Eclipsa, but at the very least, it looks like the late teen, young adult demographic is in her favor. But if it's the various kingdoms of Muni as a whole, this is great setup for next week's mid-season finale, Coronation. Eclipsa's in everyone's favor, yay! But that brings this breakdown to a close. Which episode segment did you guys enjoy the most this week? For me, it would have to be Night Shift, just because I didn't like that Queenapped was a Ponyhead episode in disguise. But hey, what you gonna do? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for my own thoughts, you can find me at Fox. We're also on Instagram. Help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Fox out.